Here we go. Let's see the whale.
As you can see here, this whale, 6,735 damage and 75,209 life.
So he's got 20,000 more life and about double the damage?
So this is something that no amount of grinding is really going to catch you up on. This guy isn't even maxed, and he has this much more.
It's not even his final form?
So this guy could actually have a 300% more life and damage.
So this guy's being lazy. He's not even spending enough money.
Yeah, you better hope you have like 50,000 or more dollars.
Okay, guys, so we're gonna have to do a sponsored stream pretty soon. We need I need a small loan of $50,000 to play a phone game. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna run this, and this rift right here is gonna cost me about $20. He's almost dead. Okay. Wow! So we're gonna do no crests. I'm gonna show you guys what just an average run looks like, okay? All right, let's see the loot. Wait. There's no chest. I didn't get any upgrades.
No.
Thank you for that wonderful intro, Asmon. Absolutely, I'm loving his Jesus-like take on spending every possible penny he can whaling Diablo Immortal. Although, you know, he's just having fun. If I were a streamer, I'd do the same thing. You know, video games on this channel haven't been a huge focus for a while, and I do regret that. I know there's a section of my audience that came in like from all the, you know, the Blizzard insanity, or obviously the Fallout 76 or The Last of Us 2, and I still play a lot of video games. Diablo was never my game, but I was pumped for the new Diablo, and I know that Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 exist, but I've never really played like an ARPG very much before. I know there's like PoE and people really like that. People like Diablo. People, you know, kind of battle back and forth. But I think there's something that we can all agree on with Diablo Immortal, and that it's a little, we've gone a little far, okay, to say the least. Now, there are a lot of people, and I want to give a shout out to them, because my wife is one of them. My wife is on like level 10,000 of Candy Crush, and she's never put a single dollar in it. She logs on, she plays, she has fun, she logs off. I do believe that there's an opportunity for a lot of people to play and enjoy Diablo Immortal if they want to without paying any money. However, the game absolutely is pay to win, in my opinion. Those that pay money can gain a strategic advantage in the game. However, it doesn't necessarily matter as much. If you're a casual player, you're probably never going to see this, but there's a huge section of the gaming community that are like min-maxers. They want to get to the end game. They want to play the game to its fullest extent. And look, I don't have any problem at all with mobile games charging money, okay? The idea that the reason they didn't sell Diablo Immortal for $60 is because they knew they could have an average revenue per user, ARPU, as they say on their stock reports, far higher than that. There's designing mobile games with reasonable monetization, and then there's like designing your entire game around whaling, where when you go whaling, it's like you design a game, you design the microtransactions for people like DSP, who literally had to declare bankruptcy because he was like had so many WWE microtransactions or whatever. You had people, you know, out there, you know, like little like Saudi princes and stuff who have spent $100,000 on these games. I'm 100% serious. They exist. But the problem is, or the conversation is around, can you play Diablo Immortal and enjoy it without spending money? I believe you can. However, I do still believe that the game is designed to actively extract the most amount of money possible from its user base. And the design, the monetization is like the core of the game, and the game's just built around the monetization. There are times that the game looks pretty good on a mobile phone or even on PC. It looks okay, and it's. I think the game is still fun based on reviews, based on what people are saying, but the monetization just is so predatory that people can't enjoy the game because they know while they're playing it, like, oh, I'm contributing to this. Diablo Immortal faces backlash as Metacritic user scores drops to Blizzard's third lowest ever. I gotta imagine the Diablo Refund Edition was probably up there pretty high too. I'm not sure what their worst. I bet you the Diablo Refund Edition is probably the worst. But a free-to-play MMO was released on June 2nd on iOS and Android, and as an open beta on PC, but quickly saw negative reception for its heavy focus on microtransactions. This included a report over the weekend that calculated it could cost players up to $110,000 to fully upgrade a character. The negativity has resulted in Diablo Immortal being review brigaded on Metacritic. At the time of this writing, the score is just 0.8. Blizzard's third worst in history. Think about that. They have 2 other games worse than 0.8? Worse than 0.8? That seems really hard to imagine. The Blizzard games receiving worst score were Warcraft 3 Reforged. Oh yeah, that's Refund Edition. And World of Warcraft Classic Burning Crusade at 0.4. Both were in recent years, in 2020 and 2021. People really have burned. I mean, Blizzard really has burned through a lot of that goodwill. The problem is, it's really difficult to switch. I still long to grind in World of Warcraft, like warts and all. And Final Fantasy Online replaced that for me. I was having a lot of fun streaming it and stuff like that, and then life got hectic and I couldn't play as much. But it still wasn't World of Warcraft. It still wasn't that game for me. And I know you could call me whatever, but I feel like we all have games like that, where like warts and all, you still love it. And World of Warcraft to me is just so difficult to replace, just because of the member berries that get put up when you start playing the game. The idea, though, that one of the main arguments against the game is that while it initially seems to be reasonable with its microtransactions, it's only once you reach the end game that they start to feel intrusive. Now, here's the thing. You know how many people actually reach the end game in these games? Very few, okay? Which is why I'm saying that the overwhelming majority of people who just want to play Diablo Immortal will probably be fine. Because the creators of Diablo Immortal don't care about you. They don't care about the free-to-play players. They care about the 1% or less of free-to-play players that are willing to open their wallets. And look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with throwing $20 at a free-to-play game, or $40 even, at a free-to-play game if you're getting tons of enjoyment out of it. The problem is when games put up gates, or they make it impossible to progress at the same level, or even at a reasonable, slower level. They get too greedy with time gates and level gates, and you can see this in games like Ebony. A fun little strategy game. You probably got fooled into it thinking it was all puzzle solving, but it really isn't puzzle solving. You're just maintaining a little, community. And then like once you reach like level 20 or 30, it's nearly impossible to play without spending money. And you have to really be on that grind. That's what happens in these type of games. They ease you in, and then wham, you hit a time gate or a level gate or something like that, where most reasonable people will look at it and say, there's no way I could do what is required to overcome this, so I will just pay the money. And again, I really don't have a problem. Let's say I spent $60 or even $80 on a mobile game. I played it for like months, and I enjoyed it, and I completed it or whatever. I think that's fine. Even $100 I think is fine. But the problem is these games, they keep turning the needle and make it more and more expensive, more difficult to progress unless you spend money. I remember that like even in the Ebony game, I think I was playing it for a while, and then there was like a point where I had to upgrade my keep. And it said like 900 days to go from like level 32 to 33 or something like that. I'm like, nobody is looking at that and thinking, wow, I'm going to wait 3 years. Like, that kind of stuff is scummy and I hate it. And when you see, the Diablo is a nice game ruined by microtransactions. Paul Tassi writes, "Oh yes, Diablo Immortal is absolutely pay to win eventually," via his article on Forbes, which we're going to take a look at. "Honestly, one of the most insane gacha systems I've ever seen. You're essentially playing through a dungeon to open a loot box that you bought. An endgame build requires hundreds of legendary crest runs. You can maybe get like 3 a month for free, and you need hundreds." One comment suggests that the game starts off reasonably, but when you reach the endgame, the microtransactions feel intrusive, which may be an explanation for the positive mobile reviews. The game is a ton of fun. I highly appreciate that I can put 30 plus hours in for free, they say. However, once you reach level 50, you start to feel more and more of the pay-to-win aspects. If you're below level 50, please don't defend the game as it's your own child, as if it were your own child. It's designed to be free to play, friendly below that level. It used to be one of the I used to be one of the people that defended the game. Don't worry, that wasn't your phones, that was mine. One of the people that defended the game. Defended the game. However, now that I've spent 2 days, 8 plus hours a day, I can easily start to see why everyone is complaining about. If the game continues to stay like this, I don't see myself playing it much more. I would love for this to be a game that I put 500 hours in, rather than 50 and drop, because of what we need. Because of that, we need to push back hard against Blizzard to tone them down the pay-to-win nature of this group and predatory tactics. Now, we've seen situations where players can push back and developers will make changes. So I think that it's still valuable to let Blizzard know that they just went too far. You see Steven Totil can confirm Diablo Immortal is indeed a mobile game with battle passes, double battle passes, triple battle passes. Another post points out the game plays on the nature of sunk cost fallacy, in which people continue to spend money on something they don't feel like the money they previously spent on has been wasted. They keep it on. I'm someone who's fallen into this trap with mobile games, they wrote. You spend money, get nothing, then you spend more money until you finally get the thing, because you don't want to feel like the $30 or $60 you spent were wasted. Once you finally get your thing, they will have your $100 plus. Diablo Immortal, though, I'm watching Blizzard victims fall into the trap while spending thousands of dollars to try to get the thing. I'm someone who has a bit of a gaming itch, and I felt like dying after spending $1,300 on a mobile game over 6 months. I can't imagine people are going to be feeling too well mentally once they realize what they're spending on Diablo. This obviously I have an article that's like, players are upset over gaming's microtransactions. This one says it costs $88,000 to fully upgrade your character in Diablo, which just translates to about $110,000 US. Great work by Bellior Gaming, excellent YouTube channel. They cover it. It's actually insane. I don't understand why these gaming companies can't just make most of the money. They always have to make all of the money, and it's because they have shareholders. And I think a valid point, if you make it this far in the video, is that you may be seeing Diablo Immortal being ratcheted up because of the failures of the latest expansions of WoW Classic and WoW Retail and the other Blizzard properties that just aren't succeeding that well. So they may be pressured to make Diablo Immortal even more aggressive in its pay to win to help keep their shareholders happy. You see, Paul Tassi, right? Yesterday I talked about the XP wall that you eventually hit around the mid-level 30s, which carries through to the end game at 60 level cap. As the game turns into much more of a slow grind, but for this middle section of the game, the answer isn't really just to spend money to progress. It's to grind and grind and grind specific activities to rank up your, quote, free battle pass for big XP gains. So does this mean that despite what you've heard, Diablo Immortal isn't actually pay to win? Oh no, it absolutely is, just not until the end game. Once you beat all the story content, there's nothing left to do other than get stronger and craft endgame gear sets. And this is where things get complicated and expensive. The main culprit here are the legendary gems, which are socketed into armor for special effects and bonuses. To get these rare gems, you must have crests, and crests come in 2 main varieties. Rare, where you'll get a free one of those every day, and legendary, where I just hit my monthly purchase cap of 1 after completing challenges, and there are 1 to 2 more in the battle pass at higher ranks. While Diablo 3 players may be familiar with the legendary gems, this is not your father's system. And this is where the kind of insane monetization of Diablo Immortal really comes through. In short, the legendary crest system is a loot box. Only you must play through a dungeon first to open the loot box that you pay for. You see some of these these percentages. Legendary crests are only place you can get 3 to 5 star gems, where the more stars, the more power, obviously. And guess what? It's absolutely 100% a gacha loot box system. Just replace the attractive anime ladies in Genshin Impact with legendary gems. Check out the drop rates. 1 star kept at 75%. For the 5 stars, it's at 0.05%. And yes, there's a pity system like most gacha games. Every 50 legendary crests, you will get a guaranteed 5 star. Shame that a $100 bundle of currency only gets you 45 crests. What a coincidence. You're going to have to spend $200 to get the one thing. And then you'll have an extra $90 in the game. The way the monetization is so insidious is mind-blowing. And Blizzard should be ashamed. I'd say Blizzard should be ashamed of themselves, but if the last 3 or 4 years taught me anything, you know they don't have shame. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.